Hello, everybody, and this is a more serious, non-joke or non-shit posting video, but this has been on my mind for decades. You see, I've been watching One Piece, actually reading the manga since middle school, and one of the things that always bothered me was a certain aspect of it that I'm going to get into pretty soon. But now, to be honest, One Piece has always been full of very dark and disturbing moments. I mean, and it's really funny too because when you look at One Piece's art style, it doesn't look like it can really be that dark or that serious at first. But there were some very dark moments. There was a time when Arlong abused Nami and took over her entire village, enslaving everybody. There was a time when, the One Piece, or goodness, the Straw Hat Pirates ended up fighting some secret government agents who were all about quote unquote dark justice. And then there was the Thriller Bark chapter where, we saw undead people fight against the Straw Hats. And then in the Alabasta arc, we saw a crocodile cause a war and kill hundreds of people during that entire arc. One Piece can be very dark in a very awesome way. But for me, what really, really got under my skin is slavery. You see, the thing about One Piece, the things I mentioned before, previously, that were really dark, at least has some sort of resolution. Like, Nami's village wasn't under control of Arlong after Luffy saved the day. The CP9 ended up losing to Luffy and his crew, meaning that, they're not as invincible as they think they were. And, all that Thriller Bark stuff and all that Alabasta stuff, that all got some sort of resolution at least. But the thing about slavery in the One Piece world that disturbs me is that it's completely legal. And the thing is, these world government and Marine, well, actually, no, just the Marines. The Marines claim to be all about, being about peace and stopping those big, bad, evil pirates, which is a noble and understandable cause. But then when, a slave escapes or something like that, then they have to go and feel a need to recapture that slave and send them back. And at first, and this was so the concept of slavery in One Piece was really introduced in Sabaody arc. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, sorry. And it was with this one pirate whose name I forgot, but he ended up running away from a celestial dragon, their owners. And as a result, he had his head freaking exploded, and then the celestial dragons, the woman celestial dragon, ended up shooting, that pirate slave. And okay, at first I thought that sucks, but to be fair here, he was a criminal, so maybe criminals deserve to get enslaved. I mean, that's a pretty harsh punishment, but who knows? This guy could have been a murderer. I mean, we do know that in the One Piece universe, pirates can be very cruel people. But no, actually, before that arc even started, they were already trying to... Oh, fudge. But before that arc even started, really, we already saw how, the mermaid Cammy was already trying to be kidnapped and whatnot. And that's, that's just always been disturbing to me because for about a decade now, nobody's really done anything to stop or fight against slavery in the One Piece universe. Like, the Marines clearly want to have, a more peaceful world and whatnot. Jesus Christ, be quiet already. But they don't do anything about it. When you look at the people in charge of the One Piece universe, like the celestial dragons or whatnot, they're heavily protected for whatever reason. They've been doing this kind of slavery stuff for years. And it's even worse because they not only go after fishmen and criminals, but they even enslave children too. What the heck, man? Now, to be fair here, there are stories in the series where, a child character does escape and whatnot. However, for the most part, at least from what we know, that's usually not the case at all, and that there's a lot of people still being enslaved in the One Piece world. Really, I just hope that Oda eventually resolves this or something, or ends the whole slavery. And it's still very weird to me that the Marines literally don't do anything or speak up against the concept of enslaving little kids. Oh man, please, for the love of God, Oda, just resolve this.